All right, let's move on to our next shape program where we talk about the RMK 13 and its sweeping impact on the property market. So from affordable housing targets to tax reforms, we want to know what does this mean for developers, investors and also everyday Malaysians. So joining us is surveyor Sulaiman Saheh, Director of Research and Consultancy Services at Rahim Co International Berhad. So Sulaiman, let's begin with the big picture. So how is RMK 13 expected to shape the overall direction of Malaysia's property market?
Firstly, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. With regards to RMK 13 that was actually recently announced, the driver of the concept is to actually build on a fundamental level of the nation's capacity, capacity with regards to our productivity, capacity with regards to an equitable distribution of opportunities and wealth for the well-being of the rakyat, which is actually something that's very good. The growth that we see expected from RMK 13, there's quite a number of initiatives that are actually being announced, actually reinforced, which would actually tune the property market towards certain areas of interest. Well, one of it is actually the focus on the HG, high growth, high value sectors, which is actually one of the economic bases for the country, because we are still within the trap of that middle income situation where we need to actually elevate the productivity, enhance the income of our people, our rakyat, so that affordability can be actually improved on top of the cost consideration that needs to be addressed, which is also being put in together within RMK 13.
Well, one of the RMK 13's key goals is delivering 500,000 affordable homes, which by 2030. So do you think this is achievable, and what impact will it have on housing affordability and supply? Because, you know, the plan also includes amendments to the Strata Management and also Titles Acts. So how might these changes improve governance and also investors' confidence in stratified properties?
I have to actually refer to the agenda of Reformasi Perumahan, which is actually under the Marathon government. The intention to actually push through or develop more affordable houses is commendable. It is something that is needed by the people, the rakyat of Malaysia, and it is something that's of high demand. The challenge is to actually how efficient is the system to actually make sure that the production of the 500,000 in the next 5 years or a million unit in the next 500,000 in the next 5 years or 1 million in the next 10 years can actually be attained. Because in the past, the total supply of residential units in the country has been hovering at about 150,000 a year. And that includes affordable segment as well as open market segment. So for us to actually attain the 500,000, it is quite a tall order, ambitious, but I guess we have to actually seek all the avenues to actually attain those. And some of the avenues that has actually been announced through the different government agencies to monetize or basically to utilize government assets through PPPs is actually one venture. And also to allow or push through the concept of the technologies like IBS, prefabricated materials, which has been on the agenda for the past few years. It's not something new. But I think for now, now more than ever, we really need to actually go through this properly to make it, formalize it in a way that's implementable, because cost implication, investment in such technologies would actually have to be amortized so that it is actually feasible. On top of that, because one of the challenges in the country is land is a state matter, and therefore the coordination between the federal government and the state government with all the respective agencies, be it at federal level or state level, they actually have to work together very closely, together with the developers, together with the professionals, consultants, to actually spurt out, or basically to actually spurt the growth of affordable houses within the market.
But Sulaiman, with infrastructure projects, also industrial growth being emphasized, which regions or property segments do you see gaining the most traction? And how is this plan, RMK13, supporting this shift, and what does it mean for developers and also investors?
As mentioned earlier, one of the driving concept or the thrust within RMK13 is building the capacity of the country to be more productive. And certain segments like the industrial, the high technology industries, there's a few that was actually mentioned, like Kigib, Kulim High Park. Kigib is actually in Korea. And there's all the other growth areas within the halal industries, electronics industries, semiconductors specifically. These areas would actually grow, and we need to capitalize the growth of these areas, and that needs to be coupled with the infrastructure that's being rolled out. We see the almost coming to completion of ECRL towards the East Coast region, which would actually help fortify the halal industries, food securities and food industries. That would be one area. In Penang, for example, with the public transportation master plan, Mutiara Line, and therefore the growth in Penang would also be spurred with this. And also we can see the ones in Johor through JSSEZ and all the RTS programs, the EART programs or development that's actually coming online would actually help push the growth of these regions.
Those are the area and also segments that will gain attraction when it comes to the property segment. So how might fiscal measures like the SSD expansion to 8% and policy reforms affecting commercial leasing and also construction costs? And will these dampen development momentum or shift strategies? Sulaiman?
We have to give credit where it's due with regards to the growth of the market. So far, after the pandemic, the market have actually been growing steadily with a commendable performance in 2024. But the market has actually slowed down in the first quarter, coming to the first half of the year. It has actually normalized somewhat. With that, we think that there will be some friction or basically some adjustments that's actually needed within the market to actually adapt to the new SSD expansion, which would actually impact the bottom lines. The SSD expansion for the 8% for commercial, non-residential, these are all for non-residential use purposes, commercial, industrials, hotel, all those kind of developments would actually be subject to the new expanded SST together with the construction SST of 6%, be it the threshold has actually been revised. However, this would still actually impact. Coupling that with the trajectory of the market right now, there will be an adjusted period that we foresee. But looking from the government's perspective, as a way to actually expand the tax base, to actually roll out more benefits towards the other sectors of the economy, not just about property. So we see the balancing act needs to be done rather cautiously.
With all these pressures like trade deals and also this SSD expansion, what are the biggest downside risks or challenges developers and also buyers should watch out for in this RMK13 era? And any advice to them in navigating the property landscape in this RMK13 plan?
I think the focus with regards to the demand for properties needs to be studied really into better detail. I think the data repository by the ministries would actually help with a more prudent decision, so that all these targeted endeavors or programs would actually reach the actual target market, the actual need by the people so that it doesn't go to wastage. So with regards to for developers, I think cost control measures is actually very important. I think the push for AI and the incentives that actually pushing through with the IBS, new technologies and whatnot, have to really be capitalized and move forward with those kind of models. Perhaps there's some structural models on a base structure that can actually be implemented throughout the country. But on top of that, with regards to the challenges, notwithstanding the external economic uncertainties that we are still facing, we actually still see there's some growth. Even within RMK 13, some areas have actually been highlighted, like the aging nation, the aging society, the market towards those with better support structure to the caregivers and whatnot. So that there are still areas where niche developments can still move forward. Because really Malaysia has a young population and we still would actually be growing together as the intention from RMK 13.
All right, that was Surveyor Sulaiman Saheh, Director, Research and Consultancy Services, Rahim Co International, Sdn Bhd. And indeed, RMK 13 is more than just a policy document. It's a blueprint for Malaysia's next chapter. And as we heard from Sulaiman earlier, the property market stands at a crossroads of opportunity and challenge. So whether you're a developer, investor or home buyer, staying informed is key. And we have a lot more update up to this, but let's see this graphic first.